We're going to look at the components that make up real GDP. As you can tell, the black line at the top is the real potential gross domestic product. This is where the US economy should be. In the green is the real gross domestic product. And so, as you can tell, other than during the pandemic year, both administrations were close, if not beyond, its own potential. We're going to look at the first major component of real GDP, and that is consumption by individuals and households. So we'll look at the first quarter of each year in the Trump administration and the Biden-Harris administration. You will see that consumption has stayed in the range of 67 to 69%. It's been just beyond 2/3, but 2/3 is a good ballpark figure to remember, or just remember 67 to 69% of real GDP is made up by consumption. So let's look at the Trump administrations and the Biden-Harris administration. Stop this video and look at these numbers carefully. Next, we're going to look at the Trump administration and the Biden-Harris administration in regards to gross private domestic investment, or we'll just say investment, as a percentage of real GDP, real gross domestic product. So we'll start in the first quarter of each year, starting in 2017 to 2024. Here are the numbers as far as investment as a percentage of real GDP. Stop this video and look at these numbers carefully. As you can tell, when you add consumption, which is comprised of individuals and households, plus gross private domestic investment or investment by domestic firms, which is the private sector, that will always be in the range, which is 85 to 87% of the US economy. Next, we're going to include real government consumption expenditures and gross investments shown in the brown line. And if you notice, it basically overlays the real gross private domestic investment. And as you recall, that always fell within the 17 to 18% of real GDP range. Let's look at the percentage of government expenditures relative to real gross domestic product or real GDP. Stop this video and look at these numbers carefully. The last component of real GDP is the real net exports, which is comprised of the dollar value of real exports minus the dollar value of real imports, which you can see is a negative number shown in black. We're going to look at these numbers for the Trump administration and for the Biden-Harris administration, starting with the first quarter in each year in 2017 through 2024. What's probably most notable between the Trump administration and the Biden-Harris administration is the enormity of the trade deficit, which subtracts from our real gross domestic product. This trade deficit can be caused from a variety of factors, but it's the enormity of this trade deficit that may become a concern as time moves on.